Hello, everyone. My name is Harini Krishnan, and I go to Folsom High School. Welcome to Know Your Charity, a talk show series that I'm honored to be hosting in 2021. The intent of this series is to bring representatives or leaders of various nonprofit, charitable, and voluntary organizations in the Greater Sacramento Area. I'm hoping through this series we get to hear the great humanitarian work that these people and their organizations do in the community. This will serve as an inspiration for students and their families to help out in the community, especially during the pandemic. Today, I have with me Kaeli Green, who works at the Sacramento SPCA. Kaeli Green is the Education and Outreach Coordinator at the Sacramento SPCA. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Let's just get right into it. So,
Okay.
what is the Sacramento SPCA?
Well, as you can see in my little friend. So, what was your question again? What do we do?
Yeah.
Okay. So, at the Sacramento SPCA, we're an animal shelter. We get confused a lot with Front Street Animal Shelter and Bradshaw Animal Shelter. And those are both run by Bradshaw is run by the county, and Front Street is run by the city. But basically, what we do is we take in people's animals if they have a kind of a last resort situation, and we try to get them adopted out from there. We also take in strays from the city of Rancho Cordova and the city of Folsom, and we adopt them out also. And then we also have a bunch of low-cost services available for the public, such as low-cost vaccinations, low-cost spay and neuter clinic, and a bunch of other things. So
That's awesome. So, what part of the community you guys normally cover animal wise?
So we normally cover, well, for animals, we take in animals from all over the county of Sacramento, all even past the county of Sacramento, really. We're the only shelter in the area that takes owner surrenders, which means that these pets have previously had owners who can no longer care for their animals, whether it be because they're moving or maybe they can't afford medical care. So we get animals that way, and we also get them from the city of Rancho Cordova and the city of Folsom. We have a contract with them to take in their strays. We have a partnership with their animal control officers, and they come to drop off strays every week for us.
That's awesome. You were talking about how you also have animals that have previously had owners. So, like, who actually brings these pets to the shelter? Do you go out and find them, or do you have people that bring them in?
That's a great question. So we definitely have people that bring in their animals. That's the main way that we get our animals. We don't have our own like animal control officers or anything that go out in the community and go get the animals to bring them to us. So they schedule an appointment through our intake department. And they come and drop them off to us and fill out a questionnaire about kind of their back history, what their likes. Maybe they like to play fetch. Maybe they're good with other dogs or cats. We kind of try to gather as much information as we can about that animal before they surrender it to us.
Okay. So, as an organization in general, how do you guys operate? Do you have employees, or is it more voluntary based?
So we have both a lot of employees and a lot of volunteers. Oh, hello, Sage. My cat's going to be making an appearance throughout this interview. Um, so as I was saying, we have about 100 employees. Some are part-time staff because some of them only work like certain days as, say, like a veterinarian for the spay and neuter clinic, maybe only one day a week. But about 50 of our staff are full-time. And then we also have lots and lots of volunteers that hold a bunch of different positions, very important positions for us. We love our volunteers. For example, they do dog walking, dog socialization. Some people come and volunteer to help some of our admin team with just like paperwork kind of stuff. Some people are cat people and love to hang out with the cats. So a bunch of different positions for people to volunteer with us.
Okay, that's awesome that you have a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Um, so how do you guys select these volunteers, or is just anybody can?
Yeah, so basically, really anybody can volunteer with us. We do have certain positions, like for example, in my department, which is the Humane Education and Outreach Department. Since we're frequently involved with kids and vulnerable populations, you do have to get a fingerprint and background checked if you were to volunteer with my department. But that being said, anybody can apply for any other department. Like say if you want to work with dogs, there's no really requirements for that other than going through a specific training. How it works is you attend a volunteer orientation with us, and then you kind of decide from there which department you want to volunteer in, and then you do further training before you can volunteer with us.
Okay. So let's talk about like the animals in general. So how are they taken care for in the shelter?
So we have a full-time staff called animal care. They are the people that take care of our animals most of the time. Of course, we have to keep things super clean at our shelter to prevent disease and things like that. Like dogs get what we call kennel cough, which is basically their common cold and can spread pretty quickly within our kennels. So our animal care staff are the people that clean out the kennels every single day, multiple times a day. Starting at 7 a.m. in the morning all the way till 7 p.m. at night. And they also give them potty breaks. We have volunteers who can come and take the dogs out for potty breaks or just for walks or things like that. And so they're not just, all of our animals aren't just cooped up in their kennels all day. They do get the opportunity to go outside and have some fun with our volunteers too.
Awesome. So in general, like what types of animals do you have?
Oh, we get so many different types of animals. Main animals, of course, are dogs and cats. But we also get, a lot of people don't realize this, but we do get a lot of small animals such as guinea pigs, rabbits, chinchillas. We get birds. We also get, what else? Hamsters. I don't know if I said that already. And yeah.
Fun stuff. That's an amazing assortment of animals that you guys
Yes, it
care
is.
for.
Yeah, the one animal we don't take though, or the type of animal are reptiles, just because they require special like lighting and equipment and things like that, and we just don't have the space or time for those kind of animals. But we do partner with a rescue if an animal, a reptile, were to ever be given to us, we have a rescue that we can send them off to.
Nice. So how does adoption work for, because I've heard a lot about that.
Yes, so before the pandemic,
Mhm.
you could just come to our shelter when we were open between 10 a.m. to about 6 p.m. And just browse the kennels, look at dogs, look at cats, and then kind of choose from there which animal you want to meet with and meet with our adoption counselors. But now with COVID, we have everything by appointment only. So we basically post all of our available animals on the website starting at like 7:30 p.m. the day before they're available. And then the next morning at 9 a.m., a link will go live on both the dog, cat, and small animal pages where you can schedule a same day appointment. So everything is by same day appointment.
Okay, yeah. So it's kind of like first come, first serve type thing.
Yep, definitely. And if, for example, if you get a later appointment time, maybe like 1 p.m., I would definitely recommend if you had a specific like animal in mind that you wanted to adopt, checking our website frequently that same day, just in case that animal already gets adopted before your appointment time. And we do try to give you a heads up to say you had a specific interest in, say, Bob the dog, and we saw that on your application. We'll give you a call to let you know that Bob had already been adopted. That way we can free
Okay.
up the appointment for another person.
Yeah. So I was just wondering this, like, so the animals that you take in, are they sometimes physically injured or are they just normally healthy?
Yes, that's a great question. We have been seeing a lot more medical cases come in, especially during the pandemic. I think that with a lot more people being at home, they're realizing maybe their animals aren't in the greatest shape. Um, So, which is, I mean, it's a little sad, but they bring them to us so that in case they can't afford that medical care, we can totally take care of them here. For example, we've had multiple dogs come in with needing hip surgeries or leg surgeries, even some leg amputations. More common things, maybe like skin allergies. A lot of different dogs have skin allergies and they just don't know what's going on and can't treat it themselves. So they bring them to us and we're able to fix them up and get them in forever homes.
Okay, that's awesome that you guys are able to help them and send
Yeah.
them off to where they belong.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, I know I asked you about adoption. How about fostering? Because I've heard some stuff about that, but I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, so basically, we have our foster program in place for a couple of different reasons. Sometimes we have an animal that's just maybe a little bit more shy or maybe has one quirky thing about them that they need to work on in a foster home before they're able to be adopted. So that's one reason we put them in foster care. Another reason is maybe they're recovering from surgery or something like that, like our dogs that had the hip surgeries. They needed to be in foster for a while to recover, get happy and healthy before they headed out to their homes. And then also, of course, we have kitten season, which is coming up pretty soon. During warm weather is when cats breed. And so we get an influx of a ton of kittens during that time. And we can't place them up for adoption until they're 2 months old and weigh 2 pounds. So they go into foster care in the meantime. And it's the same thing with puppies too. Puppies can be a little bit more flexible just because they grow at a faster rate. But kittens, definitely, we have a lot of kittens in foster care. It's basically starting around like next month.
Ooh, awesome. So if anyone wants to foster a kitten, now's your chance.
Yes, go to our website. And we have a specific link on our website for if you're interested in fostering. And all you have to do is fill out the interest form. You'll get set up for a foster orientation, and then our foster coordinator would be in contact with you from there.
Just another question about fostering. So if you foster an animal, can you like adopt it, or would they go to another house to be adopted?
So we never advertise for, say, if somebody takes in like a bunch of kittens and maybe they want to keep one, that's totally fine. It's actually called what we call a foster fail. So it's kind of a negative connotation, but essentially what happens is the owner or the foster parent just can't get or can't let these animals go, and so they end up adopting them, which is totally fine because they would end up in a loving home anyways.
Yeah.
Just it's maybe a little bit faster process. And I had fostered my dog in March of 2020, and I ended up adopting him because I just couldn't let him go. So he's my foster fail.
Yeah. So how was some of your challenges? Because obviously this was like a tough time during the pandemic. So did you
Mhm.
guys have any challenges during the pandemic?
Oh, definitely. So at the beginning, when the first shutdowns came about in March of 2020, it was pretty hard on us. We had to go into what we call cohorts. So we had not all of our staff on campus all at one time, and we're still in cohorts right now. So basically, half of our staff works the first half of the week on the campus, and then the other half of our staff works on campus the other half of the week. Um, so that was a bit of a challenge, just having a bit shorter staff. And then also Front Street and Bradshaw shelters both shut down completely. So they weren't even taking in any strays or anything like that. So we were getting a lot of strays and saying yes to a lot of animals because Front Street and Bradshaw weren't open. So they take all of the strays for the city and county of Sacramento that aren't in Rancho Cordova or Folsom. So that was a lot of animals, a lot of extra animals that we got, probably from March through the end of the year.
Yeah, but you guys probably persevered and we got all these little animals a home.
Yes, we did.
That's all I really had. Do you want to let our audience know where they can find more information about SPCA or where they
Yes,
can contact someone?
definitely. So for all of our services, I would definitely go to sspca.org. That's our website with all of our information on there. If not, you can definitely follow us on social media, Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. We're very active on there and we post a lot of fun content. So those are the two main ways that you could get in contact with us.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Thank you so much for coming. We really enjoyed listening to all the great work that you guys do. And I hope you guys got inspired to help out in the community and maybe adopt a little furry fella.
Yeah.
I would love to hear your comments and suggestions and requests. You can always email me at knowyourcharity5@gmail.com, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you.